Hello everybody and welcome to this playthrough for Expert Division in the Clifftop Links tournament video sponsored by Golf Clash and Playdemic. So let's go. 6 bars topspin with extra mile with it apocalypse level 4 with as much side spin to the right possible. We do want to use a club with a lot of curl. I'm going to mark this as a reference with having the blue ring by the rough to the right. Then I'm going to over adjust 20%. As you can see there in the end, we do want to use a smidge of overpower together with 1.5 ball curl outside the adjustment ring to the right. We bounce very nicely on the fairway, roll over to the other fairway and take this kind of like a shortcut, which is going to give us an amazingly good opportunity for an eagle. If you don't feel comfortable with that, or you might not have a club that gives you 1.5 ball curl, then you bounce over the bunker and then you approach the pin from distance as our opponent is doing now. And even though I play with an Apocalypse level 4, you could do that shot with a level 2 plus. So you don't have to have a high upgraded Apocalypse for doing that. And in a worst case scenario, I do think though that we will have to look for those of you playing with Thor's Hammer Extra Mile, I'm going to look for a power slice that would be a possibility for us to get over there. I'm not really there yet, so at the time we're going to start with this normal curl shot. Now you can see we are very close to minimum distance here, and I'm going to play this one 20% uphill. So we're going to have to play this one less as we play this one uphill, and ball is going to be affected less by the wind. 4 bars of backspin, let the ball guideline go through the hole, very important. Also, when you then adjust for minimum / medium distance. So in between minimum and medium distance adjustment for your club. And yeah, obviously no overpower, no curl, nothing. It's going to bounce nicely on the green and roll straight at the pin, giving yourself a nice little eagle. Very important, note down the reference for your shot. With that I mean note down where the club goes from a wedge to a short iron. Write down when does that happen and then build your adjustment from that. Quarterback, I'm going to start by putting the target that I'm having, the blue rings, you can see there being close to the bunker on the right, close to the rough on the left. Using all about 1 bar backspin with 5 bars side spin to the right. Adjusting 1-to-1 plus half a ring. And then you're going to see we're going to come in very nicely, and it rolls into the hole. Not something that we can expect for the ball to do every single time, but definitely something that is a big bonus, I would have to say. So when it comes to the elevation adjustment, I play it as a 30% extra. And that is elevation adjustment that I'm using in text guides. But the adjustment I'm making here on this shot is 9.5 rings for 9 miles per hour. So very important that if you want to replicate this shot, that you're using 1-to-1 plus half a ring when it comes to your adjustment. Blue rings, close to the bunker, close to the rough, 5 bars backspin and 5 bars side spin to the right, or 6 bars backspin and 5 bars side spin to the right. No curl whatsoever. I'm just gonna let the ball do the job. Super tough par 3. So of course, if we do make a hole in one, it's a huge bonus to go through to hole number 3. So let's go to hole number 3, and that we are going to start with going with a 20% over adjustment for the drive. I'm playing with the Guardian as the second club, and we're gonna come to that later on. 4.5 bar topspin, but we could honestly go with a little bit more. I'm going to use not the blue ring, half of the red ring inside the rough there to the left, and then we're going to make our adjustment to then take our shot. In the end, something that I do want to do here is to add a little bit more topspin. I could play this one with 5.5 bar topspin and still be on the fairway. I just don't want to go long, but of course I don't want to go too short either. We bounce nicely on the fairway. The ball pretty much dies there, and that's of course a bummer. But now we are pretty short. It's still going to be manageable to get ourselves an eagle, even though with this position after the drive. So now we come to the absolute toughest shot that we do have on this hole, is the approach. So here we can do two ways. We can either go with the rough to bounce in the rough to roll out towards the pin, or that we're going to use the guardian as we're doing now, max backspin, go exactly there where our opponent is aiming now. Problem for our opponent doing that with a sniper level 9 is that he or she will not have enough backspin. That's not going to be possible. So the ball is going to carry over and it's not going to stop until the ball goes into the rough. And that's always going to be a pressure shot, even though it's a short rough iron towards the pin. So my turn. Here you can see we have at least a 10-15 yards that we could be rolling further if we would be making the drive a little bit more properly. So now I'm going to use the fairway max backspin. And the most important part here for us is that in this case that we do need to go with max overpower. The ball bounced very nicely there on the green and it falls back, giving ourselves a very easy eagle putt, not a birdie putt obviously. Now I'm going to show you an alternative approach. This is for those of you that plays with an Apocalypse level 4 plus. Max side spin, 5 bars top spin. You can play with 6 bars as well, but I like to play with 5 bars, giving myself a little bit control. The thing that I'm going to do now is that I'm going to put my target with the as you can see, the 4th ring just by the rough line to the right. Adjust maximum distance with a 20% over adjustment. Then I pull back, or like I push up my target into max distance again, max curl, max overpower, and the thing that I'm looking for here is to bounce on the fairway over to the other fairway and then roll up here, giving myself a long iron towards the pin. Very aggressive approach where if you mess up your overpowered shot, you can risk be directly into the rough or directly into the sand or even into the water. So make sure that if you're going to try this shot, that you know what you're doing and not just going in blank and hoping for the best. So in the end, it's going to be a very good drive if you do want to play it very aggressively. The thing that happens now though is that we are going to play with a long iron. It's not often that you approach this pin with a long iron. So a long iron with a good amount of backspin, the Tsunami or the Saturn is going to be the club. Our opponent makes the same, playing with a power 5 ball, going a little bit longer. That's close. Going to be no problem for our opponent to reach for the green in 2 though. So Saturn, I'm using max backspin, and now I'm making not the best of the shots that I can make. I'm kind of thinking, okay, this ball is going to come back, but it's not gonna come back. I kind of noticed that. So you should definitely approach this one slightly different than I do. But you can see that there's definitely a chance. I do over adjust 30% for the approach with this shot. So when it comes to the approach shot here, it very much changes. If you do go with a wood club as the first example, then you're going to play it with 10% uphill adjustment. So you need to subtract 10% from your adjustment. And then the other suggestion, with a more aggressive approach, we're going to play 30% downhill with approach with long iron. 2.5 bar backspin. I'm going to aim with half of the blue ring inside the rough there on top, making the ball guideline be showing on the green. Then we're going to play it medium distance off our club, with a 15% over adjustment. Once we drop down into the bunker, I'm going to push up my target half a ring. And I hit great! Go! I hit great! If I would be hitting perfect, the ball would be gaining more distance and then would be having a chance to go in the hole. Hole 5, I'm going to show you 2 approaches with the driver here as well. One where we're going to play on the left side, which we're going to do now. Just a way for you to secure, giving yourself the eagle, not taking any risks whatsoever. And the albatross is basically gone because the approach from distance with for the albatross from the left side is going to be too tough. Oh yeah. So we get over there, max distance with a 10% over adjustment, max topspin, which is 6 bars, with as much side spin to the right possible. We're going to get it up there to the fairway. We want to get as close to the rough on top possible. So, and of course, if you do go into the rough or into the sand, if you play left, you play right, then you're not going to reach for the green in 2. That's just how it's going to be. And the problem here, once again, with approach is that the albatross is dead. This is going to be purely a shot that we're going to just take ourselves towards the green or fringe or fairway, give ourselves an easy time to secure the eagle. Now I will overcurl this shot, which is a bummer, but in the end, it's going to be a very simple shot to get to the green. And I wanted to show you this one because there is players that do not feel comfortable playing with a drive with such a small margin that is to the right. But I will obviously show you that approach as well, which will come after this shot. Bounce on the fairway, we get over, but you know, it's not a good shot. Still going to be a very easy wedge, but still not a good shot. So we play on the right side. The way for you to play if you do want to find yourself having an opportunity for it, the albatross. So the thing we're gonna do with max side spin to the left, 1 bar top spin. And then we're going to play this one 10% extra, as we did on the left side. No change there. Stretch out. I'm going to adjust from overpowered position. And you can see here, we don't need any overpower. And you can see as well that I can now use the enhanced graphics. So that's why the graphics looks a little bit different. Bounce nicely on the fairway directly and get here to the top. And now we're going to have a sniper approach towards the pin. And that's always, when we do have a sniper, when don't have to overpower, it's always going to be a lovely, lovely time trying to approach and getting it in the hole for an albatross. So we are going to go with as much, you know, in the end you can do this approach in so many different ways. Like, a good way to do is to go with a little bit of side spin, so you can kind of kick the ball into the left while when it hits the ground. Our opponent comes in here a little bit too much to the right, and I'm not going to make this shot that good either, but you're gonna see the trick. So the second shot, we are not going to over adjust or under adjust anything. Max side spin, I'm using 3 bars. You can see here that this is going to be a little bit too much. Even though the ball guideline is showing that I'm going towards the pin, the ball guideline does lie a little bit here, so only in this case go with around 1.5 bar top swing. Make sure that the ball guideline is slightly before the pin, not at the pin or through, because look what happens here. We roll, we roll, we roll, go into the onto the fairway instead, and that's definitely not something that we do enjoy. Now, hole number 6, my favorite par 4 in this tournament, 6 bar top spin with 4 bar side spin to the left. And in this case, I'm looking for the ball to get to around 335 yards. Max distance adjustment with a 10% over adjustment. Bounce and we roll, we're coming in very nicely. A little bit too long, but that would work. 340, that's okay. We're still gonna have a good chance for the pin. And the thing is, with this type of wind, we cannot really go for the pin in one, and we will have to lay up, or at least I will lay up, because I feel if you do make this try that I explain now to you, and then you have the shot for the pin, and if you do that shot, as I tell you, you're going to have a lot of drops on hole number 6. Our opponent played with a basic ball. I guess it's a challenge for himself or something. I don't know. Good shot though. Well done. Sit. So our approach here, it's going to be no uphill, no downhill adjustment. We're going to use the fairway before the fringe starts. I'm going to play this one with around 1 to 2 bars of backspin, depending on how close we are to the green, and I'm going to look very closely on the ball guideline. I do want the ball guideline to be around, 1/3 of a square, green square before the pin, due to that we do have tailwind, and the tailwind is going to, as always, give us an extended ball guideline, and therefore it's going to be something that we will have to adjust for. Medium distance with nothing extra. And when you adjust in this way, playing this shot in this way, the ball is going to go in the hole a lot. Nice! Boom! Let's go to hole number 7. Hole number 7 is going to be played with a little bit of tailwind, and here I'm going to play with a sniper just because of that tailwind, as I do not feel that the backspin is going to be enough to go with if we're not having like a Thor's Hammer 6-7 or with the rocket. So I don't want to gamble with the backspin. I do want to dial in the sniper approach here, at least as a start. And the very hard part with this one is the elevation once again. We do need to over adjust 25%. 25% is a lot, but it's a must. Otherwise, you're definitely not going to go to the spot that you were aiming for. So, my turn now. I'm playing with a sniper power 3 ball, as I do want to get up to the distance, like the max distance with my sniper, and I don't want to play with a Cataclysm or a Guardian, something like that. Max side spin, no top, no backspin, and I'm going to deliberately aim for this shot being around 2 green squares to the left of the pin. But you're going to notice that we need more. We need more, we need more, we need more. But the reason I'm using max side spin to the left is to take myself away from the risk of getting the ball to bounce into the rough or to the sand to the right. Because the side spin is going to help and it's going to kick our ball into the left. And that is what we do need. So this is an adjustment that I'm going to continue to tweak. And in the end, we are not getting that close here. But we have a good distance and not coming in that hot here on hole number 7. Just a little bit more to the left and then we're gonna be fine. Hole number 8, and here we do have a straight tailwind, max top spin, and as much side spin to the right with the quarterback. I'm going to push up the target once again in the end to +9 yard mark. Then go in max curl and the ball will bounce over the rough, and we're going to get a very nice distance. And the thing that's going to get here, we're going to get 406 yards. Take our pen. We write a note, 406 yards. And we have that. Okay. But I'm going to take the drive once again for you. The drive is 20% downhill. If you do have an Apocalypse level 4+, then play with an Apocalypse level 4+. But if you do not have that, then you play with a quarterback level 9 or level 10. And the reason I make an adjustment like I do with the quarterback, I do first put my target by the side there to the right, max side, max top. Then I adjust 1 to 1 and then push up my target into max distance. The reason I do that is because we do want to get we do want to have a bounce that is more further up than it is with an Apocalypse, as we have less topspin with the quarterback, and therefore we're going to push it up in the end once we have made our adjustment. And we came definitely into a better spot than our opponent. So the approach here is a very nice one. We do have almost a straight tailwind. I'm going to use 3 bars backspin. And I'm going to leave the ball guideline around half a green square before the pin. And from here, I'm going to adjust from the 406 yard mark. I'm going to adjust medium distance with a 20% over adjustment. So medium distance with a 20% over adjustment with our short iron is going to be a nice one from the 406 yard mark. Hit the ball perfect. The ball is going to bounce, and it rolls very nicely straight at the pin. Couldn't be better than that, and we get our eagle on hole number 8. Hole number 9. Here, once again, we're going to play with a quarterback using 4 bars topspin. We're having the power 3 ball, as we do want to get the distance. So, in the end, I changed to 5 bars topspin to just use the maximum bars on the quarterback. If you do not have the quarterback level 9 or level 10, use an extra mile level 7 plus, or that you're going to use some type of an Apocalypse. We do want to use the curl. We do need the curl, otherwise we're going to have a problem. Once I'm done adjusting, I'm going to push up my target around 1 to 1.5 rings. And when it comes to curl, I'm going to go with around 1.5 ball curl in 1.5 ball curl outside the adjustment ring to the left. Very nice bounce, and we get so close to the bunker. Oh. So close, we get to the 343 yard mark. We take a note of that as well with our pen. 343 yard mark, but next time we're going to go with a little bit more curl to just be on the right side. So because if we do go into the bunker there in the center, there is still a chance for us to save the eagle, but it's going to be super tough. So it's just an unnecessary thing to do. Our opponent apparently doesn't feel comfortable going over, or let's say like this, he doesn't really have the curl to go over. So going on the right side here is going to put him up for a wood club shot towards the pin. It's going to be a tough one. So if you are laying up here to the right, you kind of need to put yourself in the mindset that this is going to be more or less just an eagle hole for you. Now he got very unlucky there going into the rough. That was super unlucky. So for the approach here, it's going to be a long iron in medium distance of our club. I'm going to use a decent amount of side spin to the right, which is going to be in this case 6 bars. And I'm using 1 bar backspin as well due to the tailwind. Trying to aim the ball guideline to just be the second bounce just over the rough, but also with the ball guideline slightly pointed to the left of the pin, because the side spin is going to kick in at some point as well. Medium distance with a 10% extra adjustment. Hit the ball perfect, and the ball is going to bounce on the fairway. Gets over here, coming in very nicely towards spin, taking the right edge, and we drop that one for an albatross. Boom! A lot of good shots in this playthrough here that I'm glad to be able to show you. The par 4s are, super important. Sure, if you do drop par 5, it's going to be such a bonus, but I think hole 6 is dialed in already. Hole 8 feels very good. Hole 1 feels very good as well. There is a lot of opportunities. Make sure that you watch and you pay attention. Sure, it might be that you're not having the clubs that I'm having. You might have better clubs. You might have better balls that I'm using. Then you are of course able to use those instead. That's up to you. But when it comes to the instructions, the way, the route to take on the course, the elevation adjustment, listen carefully, write it down, on a piece of paper or on your device, so you can remember that this is a tournament with a lot of elevation changes, so we do have to earn each and every drop in this. We cannot go for green on any holes, so we do need to earn every drop. Once again, I might going to be making some breakdown videos further down in the tournament. Might going to look into a powered slice with extra mile or the Thor's hammer for hole number 1 especially. Gonna see that going forward during the tournament week. But in the end, if you do want to get the updated text guide, which will be detailed instructions on how to get a good score here in Expert, but also the other divisions, sign up on Patreon, link in the video description down below. You can also find timestamps there, so you can, you know, navigate in a proper way. Their video is sponsored by Golf Clash and Playdemic. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up before you go. Thank you so much and good luck in the tournament.